Hello, hello. I see Wolf Fox. I see Steven. Oh, why is Multistream not showing the YouTube chats again? That's frustrating. Let me refresh chat. See if that does it. Okay, Fran, you say hello. Steven can see and hear me. Yeah, Multistream is not showing up. Your YouTube is not showing up on Multistream, which means they're not showing up on screen either. It's frustrating. I don't know why that is. Oh, but I see. Okay, so Mr. Steak is showing up on screen. So Twitch is coming through on stream again. I don't know why that's the case. Let me test something real quick. If I go here, see if anybody else comments on YouTube and sends a Twitch message and says hello, will that change it? Hello? I'm not seeing anybody commenting. And I don't know if that's... Hold on. Comment for the test. Okay, so that's working. Okay, it's working on Multistream here. That's strange. And I don't know why that's the case. Okay, and now it seems to be working again. Okay, don't know why that fixed it. But whatever, we're there. Hello, everybody. Hello, welcome. We're not going to be on that long today. Probably going to go at most an hour and a half. Unkillable Mr. Steak, it goes well. I feel like... Yeah, no, I've done something today. I filmed a video today, so that's good. And then today, right now, we're filming another video, which is about creating a character starting with multiclassing, which is not going to be the same thing as starting with a specific build. And basically, that'll be a topic for another day, is starting with a build, which is not what we're doing right now. But basically, we're going to... Hello, Wolfat. Hello, Wolfox. Hello. Yes, okay, good. You're showing up on Multistream as well. Perfect. Let's see. Yeah, what do we need to... I'll give people a couple minutes to hop in before we start diving into the creation. Yeah, I'll stream probably like an hour, at most an hour and a half. I'm going to go to the character builder right away. How's everybody's Friday going? I feel a little bad that I'm counter-programming Megaphone Man right now, which is why I don't plan to... part of why I don't plan to stream for very long. I also have to go after this. I have to go and get some paint samples for the nursery. So... Hello, Bin Ho. Welcome. Okay, again, not showing up. No, it is. Okay, good. Get myself a little scare there. Alrighty, we got 20 people viewing. We got some folks active in the chat. We are going to dive right in. Steven, you have a session 0 to get ready for tomorrow. That's exciting. Wolfox, you had work earlier. You're having dinner now. That's fun. Yeah, here it's only 10:30 in the morning, so still have plenty of day ahead of me. I don't think I'm going to go to the DMV today, but I do need to go to the DMV soon. You're on your lunch break? Well, we're going to dive in. Today we are creating a character starting with the idea of them being multi-classed. Now, I don't want to start today with a build, because I feel like a build is a different thing. A build is like, oh, this many levels of Gloomstalker Ranger, this many levels of Battlemaster Fighter. Oh, sorry. Bin Ho, you'll never recover. What? Is that not how you pronounce it? Fran, it is 6:30 for you. Nice. It's not too shabby. I don't really know what good examples of builds are, and that is something we're going to do another video about probably later this year, because, starting in September, the builds are all going to be very different because there's going to be a new version of the game out. So I want to get that video out, before that happens, so we can work with what's been established, like the builds that people know about. Because I don't think I'm going to be, I do not have the skill to create a build based off of a brand new. Yeah, we might do Coffee Lock next time. Or not next time. I don't think the next one we're going to do is build, but we're going to do it in the future. Today, we're not doing that. Today, it's literally just okay, if we take two classes and we smash them together, what character can we make from that? It's pronounced Binio. It's a Portuguese nickname. Gotcha. Yes, that is a pretty radical difference. No denying it. Insomniac, welcome. Happy afternoon for you. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to randomly determine what classes we're going to be working with today. And I'm doing it randomly because I don't want to feel tempted to go to specific builds. We're going to randomly determine what level we're starting at, and then we're going to randomly determine what classes we're doing. So there's a place to just roll dice on D&D Beyond somewhere. I don't know where to find that. If I just log into one of my old characters, I'm sure I can just have one of them roll a die. Yep. Okay. Jedi build for that video? We'll see. We're not there yet. That's a few months down the road. There's other character creation videos before we get to that point. But we will do a build in the future. All right. Let's roll 2d4. That's going to determine the starting level. Seven. Okay, we're creating a level 7 character. That's a good number of levels in each respective class. That'll give us some room to play with. It's on the high end, too, which is interesting. Oh, Insomniac, I'm so glad you're enjoying Legal Kimchi. He's a fantastic content creator. He's a fantastic YouTube creator. So, yeah, he makes such excellent videos. I'm really happy with it. Okay. How do we... Let's see, there are 14 viable classes through D&D Beyond that we can use. So if we roll... What would it be? A D6 and a D10 would give us a 16 minus 1 would be 15. So we just have to re-roll if they both get max. And we'll just subtract 1 from our result. So D10 and a D6. It's going to be the first class. 10, so it's a 9. Oh, shoot, I didn't assign these. Well, I'll use them alphabetical. So what is it going to be? Let's see. We'll just create a character here. Okay, class. 1, 2, 3. Oh, Bloodhunter isn't showing up on here. Okay, well, we'll just use... Do I not have... I don't have any of this stuff turned on. Okay, just for convenience then, we'll use... What we have here is 13. Okay, we'll roll a D4 and a D10. That's pretty clean. D10, D4. I can roll right on here. That's good. And I'll subtract 1, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we have at least one level of Paladin. And actually, I don't know which one's going to be our default. So I don't know which one we're going to start with. We'll figure that out in a minute. And then we're going to do... Yeah, okay. I knew that was going to happen. Like, I just knew we were going to get the same result twice. Like, it's just how it goes. 7. So, which is actually 6, which is fighter. Okay. Paladin and fighter mixed. Not a terribly strange combination. So what we're going to do is figure out what makes each of these unique to them. Aqua Astra, yeah, it's a high level. I don't know how we're gonna do that. Wolfox, yeah, I've got the sound on for the dice. Stephen Donovan, welcome. Very glad to have you here. Oh, Insomniac, you're in ad land. Oh, I wonder how many people had an ad when we rolled our classes. If you have not seen what classes we have, let me know. Okay, so we're starting with a fighter and a paladin. Now, obviously, those are both extremely combat focused. So I'm wondering, yeah, Davos, a fighter who becomes a paladin later on might be the answer there. I mean, it might just be that we're creating a paladin who has battle master tendencies. You know, because there's a couple options here. There is basically, yeah, there's a lot of overlap, video on fighter and paladin. Here's the problem with this specific combination for the purposes here is I'm trying to figure out how to make this like an interesting character and like derive a lot from it. And I don't feel like we're getting a ton of information from the fighter aspect of it, unless we go with a subclass, which does give us something to work with. Now, this also does help, like, obviously they can be really... Oh, that's a good point. There are other fighter subclasses besides... like, I'm thinking of, like, the champion and the battle master, but you point out, Unkillable Mr. Steak, that there's the samurai as well. There's a lot of good options there. Okay. Yeah. Well... So the question is this. The question is, which one is our default class, right? Which did we start with? And that's going to determine, because a lot of people are saying, oh, they were a fighter who became a paladin later on, which is absolutely an option. I'm wondering what it looks like if we start with paladin and go to fighter. I don't care about mechanics. I'm thinking story-wise. Is that interesting? Let's see. What do each of them... I'm just going to roll. I'm going to roll randomly to determine what the starting class is. Because, specifically, I don't care about builds. I don't care about the math or the mechanics. So we're combining a paladin and a fighter just to get the story of it. I don't care about specific builds. I don't care which is, like... I would want to find a good balance between them, but for the purposes of today, I don't know what that looks like. So just trying to create a character... Exactly. Zippo Mage, is this going to be a paladin who lost their faith? Or, you know, becomes a... Yeah, okay. So we're going to do odds. We're starting with the fighter. Evens, we're starting with the paladin. Okay. If we start with the paladin, that's really interesting. Because, and I just think that's a really interesting idea to basically take a character who is... it's very easy and I think interesting to say, oh, we start with somebody who is a fighter and then they found faith later on. And I've played characters like that before. I think that's really interesting to play. But wouldn't it be also interesting if they were a former member of a divine faith and they were like a former paladin of some sort, and then they later on lost their faith? Give them decent religion, and we'll give them decent insight, because they had some sort of revelation or realization that caused them to abandon their faith. And then we're going to add fighter. And I can balance out the levels on this in a minute. We've got 7 to choose from. Fighting style. Oh, that's right. We don't have a subclass yet. I like protection for this. And maybe that is just the sort of knight in shining armor of the paladin ideal. Yeah, well, Fox, that's a question, is do we even do subclasses, Well, we've got 7 levels to fill, so we have some room to explore here. So I think this is somebody who, one of the examples I use for the paladin in the video I made about core fantasies is Phoebus from Hunchback of Notre Dame, where he literally breaks away from the what would you call it? He doesn't break away from his faith. He breaks away from the orders being given by the religious leader. I guess Judge Frollo isn't technically a religious leader. He's more of a city official, but he certainly doesn't think of himself that way in the film anyway. But if you go a little bit more, if you have them sort of break with faith in some other way, I think that's kind of interesting. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. We have lots of ideas here. Paladin multiclassing to fighter is basically like Grog, who took fighter for some of its skills. Yeah, you have somebody who had a former life in their past that they're sort of abandoning, which is so opposite of what I usually play. I mean, I just started a Baldur's Gate run where my character is based on a D&D character I played before who was a cleric who used to be, she wasn't mechanically anything else, but narratively she used to be a criminal. And then she turned to a life of goodness. And similarly, we had the same thing with a character I played for a one-shot. It was like a horror one-shot, and it was, again, he was like in his background, he was like a fighter or a barbarian or something. I didn't mechanically represent that, but narratively I had him be a paladin who had, you know, who had basically converted all his levels, essentially, because they'd found faith. And I think with both of those characters, there's something appealing about taking a character who, I was evoking Saul a lot from the Bible story. Saul, who like it persecutes people and then is struck blind by God, and then like has a revelation and becomes like the most zealous God fan. I'm generalizing, but you understand what I'm saying. And taking the idea of that character, and a character I've played in a lot of different variations of, which is, this is someone who has a troubled past and is now trying to do better. So we have that also with like the wizard I played for 20 levels, who was a charlatan and a con man who's like becoming a better person. So this is kind of the opposite of that. I mean, it might be, I mean, it depends what the deity is. It's possible that they were also serving an evil deity, but let's assume for a moment that we're still keeping with that knight in shining armor backstory. They were a paladin, they were well regarded and well respected, and they broke away from that because they became disillusioned. Sort of the reverse of what I always play with so many of my characters. Carlos Zepeda, can't a paladin just finish a quest and lose his powers? I mean, it is possible that it depends on your game. You know, I could always say like, oh, well, they're still getting powers from something. That's an interesting question, right? Is like, how do we represent that narratively? Like, yeah, so that is a good question. It ultimately, I mean, the question of whether or not you take powers away from a paladin is kind of a different question, right? Is like, how much do you punish players for narrative? And that's something we'll talk about a lot more as Critical Role goes on, as people experiment with that. And we'll talk about that more on the channel in the future. And I have more videos coming up about players' relationships with gods and all that, and all the stuff we can play with there. But in this case, it's a good point. They are still a paladin. Did they actually lose faith in the deity, or did they simply break away from the organization and the structures of it? You know, is there something rotten in the organization? That, I think, is interesting. And that gives us something to play with, and it gives us plot hooks to give to our GM, right? It's just to say that someone in the faith is not who they claim to be, or not serving their role responsibly or respectfully. So this person like went off on their own, abandoning that, but still serving either a deity or the same deity in their own way. Which means I think we do need to at least come up with a paladin subclass, because I want to know what kind of paladin they are. I want to know what his sacred oath is. I say he, it doesn't have to be a he. Yeah, Insomniac, rolling off of something in Legal Kimchi's video, what if they didn't break with their god, but with their hierarchy? Exactly. And that is something I'm going to make a whole video. I have a video that's basically like, not quite a response to Legal Kimchi, because I'm talking with him about it. Sorry, just screenshotted that comment because I want to save it for later. I have a video coming up in April? May? I don't remember. About like how players can adjust their relationship to the gods of D&D if the GM isn't going to do a lot of the interesting things that happen in Legal Kimchi's video, but how we can sort of still incorporate them into our games. Oh, and Gilbo Mr. Steak, Frollo is a religious leader in the book. That's good to know. Oh, Casper, that's very kind of you. Thank you so much. Yeah, Davos brings up what we talked about earlier, which we've already talked about. Zephy as well. How do we approach the character not losing their powers, which is, you know, what we're talking about now. Yeah, so a lot of the conversation about what we were just discussing. Yeah, Insomniac, that's a good point. Insomniac brings up that technically if you break an oath, you become the Oathbreaker Paladin. Give me a sec, y'all. Dogs are going ballistic. I don't know why I have my headphones in. I'm not listening to anything right now. Hey! Come on, away from the window. Come on. Come in the office. In here. No, Luke. Okay, look, it's proof. I have more than one dog. Come on over here. Okay. Whew. All 3 dogs are in the room. Okay, sorry. Probably gonna cut that out of the part I used for the video. Insomniac, you question the idea that breaking an oath automatically has evil intentions because some of the oaths are not very nice. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I wonder if they're going to be an oath of conquest because they were sort of unquestionably... I don't know. We'll have to see. I want to look at the oaths in a second. The broken oath inadvertently becomes their new oath. Zippo, you're a genius. What did Zippo say? Oh, Ahsoka situation. Blamed for a perceived crime and disenfranchised when the order they pledged to sided with local judiciary instead of backing them up. Yeah, I don't quite want to go that way because I kind of like more the idea that they left because of their own loss of faith in the sense of loss of trust. They no longer believe that the organization is holding to their ideals. Without getting into like the legal aspect of it. That's a great way to take this character. Not quite where I want to go with it, but just because of what I would want to explore with the character. But it's another very interesting way to go. You could just do Ahsoka. I mean, Ahsoka kind of is this to a degree. Right, Adam. That's a great way to put it. It's not that they are changing their oath; they're gaining they're not changing their class; they're gaining an additional one. So, are they moving away from their oath? We're gonna see. We're gonna see what the oaths. Oh, Mentat Muse. Do I ever think I'll make a character with the challenge of starting with the trinket chart? You know, I have a list of... Oops, wrong one. I have a list of videos in this series that I want to get to. I don't remember. That's a great question. Is the trinket chart on there? If not, it ought to be. Looks like I've got just about everything else. You know what? I'm gonna write it down. If it shows up again, it shows up again. Oh, I have item first. I'm gonna make that separate from trinket first. Item first was like how Travis Willingham talked about how he... Is the title still supposed to say PS5 test stream? No, it should be changed. Does it not? Is it not changed in Twitch? Hold on. It still says that. Why does it say that? Wow, nothing changed on... Yeah, nothing changed on Twitch. That's weird. Is creating a D&D character multiclassing first. Thank you for catching that. I don't know why. I think I just need to be more careful about watching the changes when I use multi-streaming. Still getting used to multi-streaming. There we go. It should be changed on Twitch now. Okay. Right, multiclassing and paladin is not necessarily oath breaking. Yeah, it depends on what we want to do with this character. Right, Davos, that is a good point. It could become like a Psy Warrior or an Echo Knight. Yeah, Zoidberg, when I say item first, which is one of the ones I have on the list, I'm referencing Travis Willingham's approach to creating his character for Calamity. Yep. Yeah, so Robin Fox said you bring up, like, we could always go Pallylock. In this case, the goal is, let's take two classes rather than think about what we're doing with the class. Like, let's just take two random classes and see what we can do when we create a character based on those. Right, Qui-Gon is a good example. Like, somebody who lost faith not in the Force, but in the Jedi Council specifically. What fighting style would we go with? Let's go with, what is this one? What is Interception? Yeah, I like that. I think that's a good one. Or, actually, you know what? Before we choose this, let's pick an oath. I think that's going to depend. Okay. Oath of Glory. Ooh, interesting. Hold on. I want to refresh myself. Associated spells. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, it doesn't actually say in this section. I have to pull it up. Okay, let's pull up Theros and read the description. Oh, no, M. Mythic Odyssey. It's not under featured. So let's find it. We're just doing Oath of Glory. Destined to achieve glory through deeds of heroism, train diligently and encourage their companions so they're all ready when destiny calls. The tenets of the Oath of Glory drive a paladin to attempt heroics that might one day shine in legend. Strive to know my glorious deeds, not words. Face hardships with courage. This is interesting. Because it's not necessarily bad. No, Fox, I have not chosen an ancestry yet. It's not necessarily bad. Like, they're not necessarily evil. Like, it's not like we're like, oh, he was an Oathbreaker. He was a Oath of Conquest. But it is somewhat selfish. Or it's very, like, combat-focused. That's really interesting. Peerless athletes. This one's just like, you're really good at strength. Inspiring smite to distribute temporary hit points. The thing I like about this is they feel a lot like a military leader more so than a solo hero, you know? Yeah, and Mr. Steak, it's a little bit more ego-driven. I think that's really interesting. That's the one to beat. Man, I forgot about this one. Oath of Conquest. Oh, you know what? You know what I should do? I should just go to the... Can't I just see all these on the Paladin page? Game rules. Paladin. I should be able to at least see all the ones I have. Yeah, okay, that's easier. Subjugation of their enemies. Yeah, I mean, obviously this is the... If we wanted to go really explicit, which we could, if we wanted to go really explicit with they worked for the bad guys, this would be a great way to do it. And I'm not saying no to that. I'm just... It's very direct. And these aren't... Obviously, Oath of Conquest is not even necessarily evil. You know. It's just a little sinister. Oath of Devotion are the most obvious good guys. Yeah, Cavaliers, White Knights, Holy Warriors. Oh, we could always go Cavalier for the fighter. That would actually work. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. Just talked about Oath of Glory. Oath of Redemption. If we're going the other direction, this would be perfect. And that is very tempting. We're not going to go that way this time. Oath of the Ancients. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It very much depends on how you feel about Fae. I'm not like as big a Fae guy personally. So this might be good to sort of, ooh, interesting actually, because then we could even have the race be someone who was a member of a Fae court. That's interesting too, actually. Like if this was a fawn who's now off on their own. That's interesting. Maybe. See, Oath of the Crown is the other one that I really like. I want to see actually what it gives you. Compelled duel. What is it? Compel someone to fight just you. Turn the tide. You can bolster injured creatures with your channel divinity. Yeah, Conquest is military hardcore, exactly. And then Oath of Vengeance, which we're not going to go with, I don't think. Oh, and there's Oath of the Open Sea as well. Yeah, I'm not quite... If the whole tenet of this one is freedom, I kind of prefer going with a character who is now trying to seek freedom. Yeah, Unkillable, that's a good point. Crown could be good if the good ruler died and an evil one took over. And there's a good excuse through that one to kind of get them back into... It lends itself well to new antagonists. And to various tiers of antagonists and rivals and things, right? People from their old... Oh my god, it's Captain America. We are describing Captain America at the beginning of Infinity War. I don't do this on purpose. But that is essentially what Oath of the Crown is, right? The Oath of the Crown is sworn to the ideals of civilization, be it the spirit of a nation, fealty to a sovereign, or service to the deity of law and rulership. The paladins who swear this oath dedicate themselves to serving society, and in particular, the just laws that hold society together. These paladins are watchful guardians on the walls, standing against the chaotic tides of barbarism that threaten to tear down all the civilization has built, and are commonly known as guardians, exemplars, or sentinels. Often, paladins who swear this oath are members of an order of knighthood and service to a nation or a sovereign and undergo their oath as part of their admission to the order's ranks. Yeah. Yeah, Zephy, they don't want to fully abolish their oath. They want to find a new faith in their oath. Or they want to, even if they've lost faith in their oath, it's not because of the ideals they strive for. It's because of what's currently happening, kind of like a Ronin Samurai as well, which is why I'm kind of leaning towards we might go with Samurai for this. Because it lends itself so well sort of thematically. So we're going to go Oath of the Crown. And for the fighting style... When they were an Oath of the Crown, we were going to give them... I mean, didn't I already take Protection? Did I already take a fighting style down here? Yeah, I did. So what if instead we give them... Dueling. Yeah. Reminds you of when Ginny D starts making a character and then winds up saying, I made Zuko again? Yeah, exactly. Wolfox, exactly. If you're going to make a character from the MCU on accident, you might as well make the best one. Yeah, I cannot believe I didn't realize I was making Captain America. I love Captain America. Okay, we're gonna dip in. We're going to go... Because we're making a level 7 character, we're going to give them 3 levels in fighter, and we're going to pick a... We can either do Cavalier... and I want to look at fighters as well. I want to see what these subclasses actually give us. Because Samurai is appealing. Cavalier is also really interesting. They learn to guard those in their charge from harm, often serving as the protectors of their superiors and of the weak. Compelled to right wrongs or earn prestige. Many of these fighters leave their lives of comfort to embark on a glorious adventure. Many of these fighters leave their lives of comfort to embark on a glorious adventure. That's kind of exactly what we're talking about, right? Let's look at anything else. Let's just see if there's anything else that appeals. But man, I really like that. I really like the Cavalier idea. And also if they're Find Steed? Can't you just... Yeah, exactly. So Fox Robin Hood said it at the same time. You get Find Steed through being a paladin, which means you always have access to your animal. Yeah, that could work really well. I just want to look at something. I mean, Gunslinger would also be very Western. I'm not gonna go that. I'm not gonna go that way. Yeah, I don't want to go Echo Knight. I think that's interesting. I want to play an Echo Knight at some point. I don't think this is the character for it. I mean, you could do anything at this point. At any point during this process, that's the fun of this, right? You're having other ideas. You might see this and go, "Oh no, that's not what I mean, how many people here were like, why don't you go with a warlock? How many people were like, why don't you go with this oath and this oath?" And it's like that's the fun, right? Is like there's a lot of different ways you can take these combinations. Yeah, I'm gonna go Cavalier. I think that makes the most sense, and it's also mechanically really good. Do a Cavalier skill. We could do animal handling. Let's do persuasion. Or history. Okay, and now we just want to see what happens at higher levels. Oh, it's an ASI either way, so it really doesn't matter. So I'm just going to thematically... Well, what happens if you pursue extra attack, aura of protection, or another ASI, warding maneuvers. See, now we're actually talking about mechanics, right? Now we're actually trying to figure out what makes the most sense mechanically for us to go to with this character. Because it doesn't matter. It's not going to matter for a couple of levels. You kind of have to commit to one or the other. I mean, or just keep bouncing back and forth and getting more ability score improvements and more extra attacks. But I don't even think the extra attacks will stack, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Zephy, you bring up a point, and that's why I didn't go with the samurai. So Zephy Wings says, a samurai in a situation where their society isn't structured around samurai is odd but fascinating. I wonder how that would even work. Like, what is a samurai in that context? And that's kind of why I didn't go with it, is because there's a lot of opportunity there to just... you're taking your assumptions about what... First of all, it doesn't have to be flavored like a samurai. It can be flavored like anything. So it's just like they have certain abilities that make them good in combat. But the other question there is, like, are you just kind of going off of the vibes, or are you trying to like replicate samurai movies or your understanding of samurai movies? Like, I just don't know. I don't have a strong enough idea of how to do that in a way that I think is interesting and respectful and like distinct, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Whereas with the Cavalier, I can immediately see that character and it works really well. And they could still be flavored. Like, you could still be, you know, the samurai riding in on a horse because they've got the horse. So yeah, extra attack does not stack. So I think we'd be best off just committing to either fighter or... And I think because of the narrative that we've established, we're going to stick with the fighter, right? And you know what I would probably do? Because these next few levels are so similar, I would probably tell my GM. I would probably be like, listen, I'm a level 7 fighter and paladin. Right now, I'm 4 levels of fighter, but level 4... and 5 of paladin and fighter are the same. When I get to level 9, when I get to level 9, if I need to, can I retroactively flip these fighter levels to paladin levels if I want to go with the paladin level 6? Because I don't think the GM would have a hard time with that, right? Like, there's no meaningful difference at that point. And I'd be curious to know if we're at a point narratively where the character feels like they would be more invested in going the paladin route, or if we would keep them going the fighter route. But because of the thematics that we have going on, I'm going to stick with the Cavalier for now. Because the Cavalier stacks a lot on what we already have been given by the paladin. So for right now, it works, I think, really well. Oh, that's a good point. Paladin level 5 also gives you new spells. Yeah, but narratively speaking, I'm gonna stick with what... Oh, wait. What level is Fine Steed? This build might not work yet. Hold on. We may have to go. It's a 2nd level spell, which the Paladin can cast at level 3. Okay. So we're good there. But let's see. Which means it's the only spell they know. Oh wait, they don't have this level. Oh, because they're not a full caster yet. Oh yeah, so this doesn't work yet. So it has to be... We have to bump them up to level 4. And try to get Fine Steed. You know what? I'm going to take them down. They're not going to be a Cavalier yet. Because don't they not get Fine Steed until they are here? No, they don't even get it here yet. Oh, wait. Fine by 2nd level? Fine Steed. There it is. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the dogs are fighting below me. That's an interesting question. because we are taking this character to level 7, we're not quite at the point. Right? Because if I take it down to 4, do I still have second level spells? Yes. No, I don't. Yeah. So if we want to do... Yes. Wow, you guys are getting a lot of ads on Twitch right now. Don't love how many ads y'all are getting. Just make them level 8. Who cares what the dice say? The dice are representing us sitting down as if we're playing a game, right? Like as if this is what the GM has said. So that's why I chose that number somewhat arbitrarily. Is as if the GM said, "Hey, everyone sit down. We're making a level 7 characters." I think we're going to stick with 4 levels of Paladin, 3 levels of Fighter, because I want to get the Cavalier features. And right now they can just have a horse, right? And then as they level up, they can take a level of Paladin and start getting things like Fine Steed. It just means that we're going down the Paladin route more, which can kind of be represented by this character saying like, oh, I am working with these other adventurers, and that's kind of renewing my faith in the possibility of what things can look like. So they basically just had a dark night of the soul where they went off on their own. Oh my gosh. These hard toys. Wrigley. You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. Yes, that's fine. You can do it on that. Oh, just the one ad break on Twitch. Okay, that's good to know. So I think this character basically had a long dark night of the soul where they were wrestling with what is my relationship like with my nation and with my leadership and with my rulers. And so now they've kind of come out the other side of it. They're ready to start taking class levels in Paladin again, if, when they next level up, because that gets them some spells and things. But it allows them to have dipped into Fighter both narratively and mechanically. That's I think what we're going to go with. I'm not going to take any uncommon magic items because those are the kinds of things that are determined by the GM. But I might look at feat. Oh, we don't get feats. Yeah, we do. We get feat. Hold on, I need to retake Cavalier. Hold on, I'm going to prepare some spells. So they're going to get Fine Steed when they level up next. So right now they're going to take... Let's give them a Searing Smite. Which one's this? This is Fire? Or should we instead do Wrathful? Which damage is Wrathful? Psychic damage? I don't mind that. Yeah, I didn't leave the King's Guard. They left me when the Mad King ascended the throne. Exactly, something like that. We can figure out in a minute. I may figure that out offline and put it in the video, or we can talk it through as we're creating the character. Figure out exactly what the... Oh, it's funny, I'm mentioning Captain America, which kind of brings us back to the legal discrepancy that we had when we were talking about Ahsoka. Because Captain America also fled because he was accused of breaking the law. Although, in fairness, he did do it. He just didn't care. What else should we do? Shield of Faith is a bonus action, right? I'm going to do Shield of Faith just so he has something else he can do in his bonus action. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Thank you for the reminder. I want to go and replace one of these with Animal Handling class features because he's going to need a way to do that. Bonus Proficiency, Cavalier Skill. It's probably under here, right? Animal Handling. There we go. So what did I pick originally? It was Persuasion. I think I am going to swap. No, I'll leave Religion. I think it's appropriate. Do I keep Intimidation from what he had before? Oh, Shield of Faith can go on the horse too. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. That's true. Ooh, what did Fox Robin Hood say? Oh, mounted combat feat and hope the game is not only dungeon crawls. Yeah, exactly. Man, I could see this being... I think we're going to go insight because the insight is what allowed him to break from this organization, right? He had enough insight when he was a paladin, so it makes sense to tie it to that. He had enough insight to leave the organization. And then we're going to give them... Oh, yeah, and that's true. We get background skills. Let's do the background now. That's right. I normally do background early on for that exact reason. Oh my gosh, I have so many backgrounds. Let's see. Do I want to just go soldier? That's kind of what I'm picturing, right? Is something in that ballpark. Which gives us athletics and intimidation. Yeah, it does narratively make sense that he would have intimidation. Noble could work as well. Yeah, isn't there a yeah, noble also works. What does noble give you? History and persuasion. Okay, so we can get persuasion and history from that. Yeah, that's kind of more in line with what I was picturing for the character. Dice sets. Position of privilege. Yeah, I'm debating going with the knight instead. I know that means more NPCs that have to be created, but I just think it makes more sense. He's got some, like, disciples with him now, you know? Let's give him Draconic. I'm kind of feeling like he's a member of... And maybe this is just because I'm watching episodes of the, you know, Vox Machina that are about the Chroma Conclave arc. But I'm kind of leaning towards him being a member of, like, the I almost said Tiamat, of the Bahamut's organization. Ooh, Zephy, that's an interesting question. Can't the knight cohort be a horse? Or is that a Pathfinder thing? Knight background gives you a servant for your horse. Oh, that's true. About having a sidekick slash retainer. These are draconian knights. We're not gonna go that direction. I do like that they could be basically attendants who keep track of the horse, and I could even say, like, hey, I don't have ideas for 3 characters. Could one of them be the horse? But if the horse dies, then I'm gonna start using Feinsteed anyway, or I don't know. Well, I'll have to talk about it. I'll have to figure that out. Yeah, I'm leaning toward using Bahamut for this character, the Dragon Knight. Which means we could have gone with Purple Dragon Knight, but I don't think we're gonna do. Tiberius made him lose all faith. No, we're not going that direction. We could though. Okay. I really hope the dogs are not that distracting in the background. I'm really hoping that I'm coming through louder than they are, because I can't lower their volume slider like I can with the computer. Okay. I mean, I still like... I feel like I almost always go with this one. My eloquent flattery makes everyone I talk to feel like the most wonderful and important person in the world. But I do think that it works for this character. Okay, I'm still coming through louder than the dogs? Okay. Except Wrigley's got this hard toy. Oh, you don't have it anymore. Oh, I don't know where it is. Oh, maybe I'm just hearing things. Okay, people are saying the dogs are fine. Okay, good. That's true. A number of classic knights have horses who are very much characters in the story. That's a good point, Insomniac. Okay, I'm going to go with eloquent flattery. And then despite my noble birth, I do not place myself above other folk. We all have the same blood. Yep. Ideals. I think it's going to be responsibility. No. Obligation. That's what it is. Noble obligation. It is my duty to protect and care for the people beneath me. Yep. Bonds. These are all tough because they're so noble themed. I may have to... The common folk must see me as a hero to the people. That's not quite right either. I will face any challenge to win the approval. No. House's alliance. No. You know what? We're going to take this one, but we're going to change it to my loyalty to the ideals of my nation is unwavering. I secretly believe that everyone is beneath me. Just complete heel turn at this point. I don't love any of these, but he does need a flaw. Yeah, I think we're going to go with something from a different background. Do I have a list of backgrounds here? Can I... Or do I have to make a new character to steal some backgrounds from game rules? Backgrounds. Or the... What else could I look at? Soldier? Let's look at the soldier. That should be a pretty close 1-to-1. If not, we'll deviate somewhere else. No. Ooh, that's not bad, actually. I'd rather eat my armor than admit when I'm wrong. Maybe. PTSD like Cap. Yeah. And that's what? This one? The monstrous enemy we faced in battle still leaves me quivering with fear. No. Well, hold on. I made a terrible mistake in battle that cost many lives when I didn't keep that mistake a secret. No, I'm not going to go that way with this. Urban Bounty Hunter is kind of similar. Let's take a look at Urban Bounty Hunter. I can't think about how to steal it. Money or friends. If the plan, forget it. Oh, so for this one, they just listed this from criminal, I think. That's not super helpful. What about Knight of the Order? It's the same ones as Soldier. Okay. Look, it saves time. Knight of Salamnia? I don't own that book. What is the Guildmaster's Guide? Bear with me. Because there's a Guildmaster... There's a Ravnica book that is... I obeyed the law and it caused terrible misery. Insomniac Gaming Theater. That is what I've been looking for. It's kind of combining some of these into a really interesting way. I obeyed the law and it caused terrible misery. Yeah. Yeah. He was responsible in ways that he did not consider for doing some bad stuff. I have to figure out exactly what that is. I don't want his hands to be completely clean, right? Like, there's something very appealing about him seeing the way things were going and immediately walking away, but he still played some sort of role. Why are YouTube not showing up on this chat anymore? They're showing up on screen, which is good. Okay, the dogs are fine. Okay, we had those. Okay, this is the last ones that I was not seeing. Could be a paladin that felt he almost failed his mission, or maybe he did and wants to hone his martial prowess. If I were playing this character, tell my DM to kill my mount early on so I get a cool moment where I bring it back with fine steed, sort of immortalizing it. Yeah, I know. I was thinking about that as well. Your character thinks they're being friendly, but you're rolling Intimidate because of how bad they are being friendly. Okay. Let's fill in some stuff. Let's make some chaos. Let's make some stats. Should I roll? Or should I use standard array? Yeah, exactly, Zeffy. He followed one last order before he realized it was no longer a path he could follow. Yeah, we're going to roll just for fun. Okay. 15. Ooh, these are good. Wow, I do not roll this well at home. Holy crap. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, strength. Oops. That should have been charisma, constitution, dexterity, intelligence, and wisdom. Yeah, Zephy, that's a good point. I am at home, but I don't roll this well in my home games, is what I meant to say. Can you convince me to make a Dex Paladin? You could. Not quite where I'm thinking of going with this character. So I don't think I will this time. Maybe another time. What do I need to do next? Race. I mean, I'm leaning toward human, to be completely honest. Because I just tend to assume and imagine that the humans are the members of the main, or is this a dragonborn? That could be fun. Let's take off the language. I kind of like that, though. Let's go dragonborn. Pardon me. Does it matter which one we do? Metallic, blah, 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 blah. Breath weapon, resistance. 5th level gets a little better. Yeah, I played a half-orc who was the version that we talked about earlier, who was the paladin who used to be a fighter narratively, but never had those stats. Because they were created for like a level 10 or 12 one-shot. Wildmount campaign, half-drow that rides a moorbounder. I'm not going to go that direction. Let's see. I think actually, theoretically, I could get a bonus that goes up all the way up to, get an 18 strength? No. Yeah, I can get an 18 strength. I can't get a 20 strength. This is just really appealing to me. I do kind of like... Yeah, Zephy, that's exactly right. I don't know yet who the noble houses are. But if I am thinking that this is going to be a paladin of Bahamut, it could be human or it could be dragonborn very easily. I might go with... Oh, I went all the way away. That's not what I meant to do. What setting am I imagining him in? Fantasyland. The most default setting. Yeah, I'm not picturing... Yeah, no, that's a good point. Depending on what lore you like, even elves like Bahamut. I think most people like Bahamut, which is why it works. I am picturing something more like Tal'Dorei than I am Forgotten Realms. Do I want metallic? What's the thing that they get through Fizzbands? There's something they get. I thought there was some other thing they got. Is it just a different breath weapon? I don't remember. I think I'm going to go with... Yes, Oreo. I'm just gonna roll a d10. 1 through 5 is gonna be one of the chromatic. 6 through 10 is gonna be one of the metallic, and I'll just select it that way. The gem dragons just don't excite me, to be completely honest. 10, okay. Which means it's gonna be the final result here. Oreo, you gotta stop. Silver. Be a silver dragonborn. Which kind of works. Like, I like you still have that knight in shining armor aesthetic. You know, he almost would have looked like a living statue when he's wearing silver armor. And it's cold breath, which is interesting too. Okay. What else do we need? We need equipment. Martial weapon and a shield. I specifically took dueling so that he has I'll give him a longsword, so that it is a shield. He also has protection, so he's able to put the shield in front of other people. Yep, it's Oreo. Hold on, other side. Hold on, Pizza. Hold on, people. Ugh. It's Oreo. Oreo says hello. Oh, she lost interest. 5 javelins. Sure, why not? We got a good strength. We'll do a explorer's pack because they wouldn't have a priest pack anymore. We will give them a amulet. Sure, all the rest of that is fine. I don't have any particularly strong feelings about any of the noble gear. But it saves time of having to randomly choose. Can I get a... Oh, you're right. Can I get a lance at this level? You know, I'm sure I can. Other possessions. Add items. Lance. Yeah, it's 10 gold. I'll just deduct it from the starting gold. Even though I doubt. I'm sure my GM would be able to say, yeah, you have it. It's fine. I can't make that determination. That's determined by what would actually happen in this scenario. Oh, and someone also says whip. I have the horse. That's my whip. Is that a good joke? Do kids still say whip when they're talking about a car? Does that still work? Wait, how much was the lance? Was it 10 gold? Or was it 6 gold? I don't know. I'm going to add the whip. I'm going to deduct 2 for that. And the lance was... Yeah, it was 10 gold. Okay, I had that right. Bloop, bloop. Okay. Okay, we have a language to pick. Because they were a paladin, I'll go ahead and give them Celestial. I think that kind of works. Or... Yeah. I think that makes sense. Character arts. That works. And they just need a name. No. All right. I think we nailed it. I mean, I think that's the name. Ladder lady, I know, I was debating that too. I'm so thinking of this character as male throughout this process that it's hard for me to shake that now. Just because all of these influences for me are Captain America, Phoebus, you know, all these things are male characters, so it's really hard for me to shake that idea. Let's just suggest some characters. Let's see. Or you know what? Captain America Ferrera, exactly. Captain America Chavez. Let's look at Xanthar's Guide. Let's look at those names, non-human names. Sure, let's roll. Oh, always Aaron. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoyed the inspiration. All right, 55. Mreshk. I don't like that. $85. Shedden. Hey, I'm shedding. Oh, you know what? I haven't been looking at YouTube chat. Yeah, so other people also agreeing. People suggesting half-elf and dragonborn. Dragonborn riding a big drake into battle. Does a shield count as a weapon? No, it does not, unfortunately. Draco McDragonface. Hello, Gamercore. Welcome. 67. Panjed. Wow, I do not like these names. We'll give it one more try. Because fool me 4 times, shame on you. Is that one? 68? Is it the same? That doesn't count. That doesn't count as a new name. 26. Gargax. See, that just sounds like I'm making a Gary Gygax reference. It is literally Gary and Gygax. Gargax. Alright, let's just... Why are dragon names hard to come up with? Balazar. That's not bad. Balazar. Zifri, did someone say? Sadar. Captain Balasar. It's not bad. Let's see. Yeah, you want to find something that's pronounceable and spellable. Balazar with a Z. Captain Balazar Silverwing. Captain Silverwing. I think that works. Yeah, I dig that. Yeah, I did see some people suggesting gender flipping the character. I think that would be a cool thing to do as well, but I think for me, I'm going to keep this character male, but actually... Let's see. It's been a while since I've created a female character, to be completely fair. No, I've got a decent spread of them. Yeah, I am still picturing this character that way, so I'm going to stick with what I've got with this character. Yeah. Captain Balazar Silverwing. I think that's everything I need. That's the character. So, I wonder if there's anything we would need to do. I mean, I think the tough thing is the next thing we need to figure out is what happened. But that's really difficult to do without a sense of what the community is like that they were a part of, right? And talking to the GM about, like, okay, what did they do that basically made him lose his faith in this organization? And that is something that I would talk to the GM about. I would say, hey, this is what I want to do with the character. What do you think is reasonable, you know? Because they might say, like, listen, I don't want to have this organization have been doing, you know, the stuff that happened. We've been mentioning Hunchback of Notre Dame a lot in this video. We don't want to necessarily say that, oh, they've been out there routing out people trying to track down, you know, Romani equivalents. You know, we don't want to necessarily go that route. What can we find that's like a nice middle ground? And we might land on something like what we discussed earlier, which is more of what happened with Ahsoka or Captain America, where, you know, they violated a law or were perceived as violating a law, and they just had no support from their organization. They got thrown under the bus. That's a reasonable option, but I like it more that there's more a sense of corruption there, and sort of like the decay of honoring their goals and objectives. So that is, I think, something we would figure out with our GM, but that's a character that I'm really excited about. I think that would be a lot of fun to play. And it just came about by us saying, like, okay, what are some classes that we could merge in some interesting ways? And not going with the obvious thing that I always go with. Which is funny, because we actually went with the classes in the order I rolled them, which worked out well. Alrighty. That is it. I mean, obviously, character creation does not normally take an hour. That was a lot of us talking it through and trying to find the best options. This would also be a very fun character to create at a session 0 and figure out who could bounce off of them in an interesting way. So, yeah, I'm really happy with this character. All right. I am going to go ahead and wrap things up a little bit. I am not doing the live stream today. I know that was originally scheduled. What we are instead going to do is do that live stream on Monday. I've made a post about this as well, and you can see the live stream already. Just because my wife and I forgot that we have a doctor's appointment this afternoon for the little brewing bumble of baby inside, and we just want to get Zephy, it depends, right? I mean, a lot of what we were talking about today was looking at options, but also was talking through what kind of thematically was the most interesting and made the most sense. So that can take a bit of time. I find these streams usually take that long. If I were creating the character on my own, it can go a little faster, but it depends. Yeah, it's just a standard check-in. Just a standard check-in doctor's appointment. We just forgot about it. And I was like, well, we might as well just both go to that, because I just don't think we'll be back in time for the live stream this afternoon, so I'm just pushing the live stream to Monday instead. Oh, Elbow Kitty Rainstar, I'm very glad. Yes, wishing you all the best. I did not realize that was you. That's good to see you. Welcome. A 7th level could take 3 hours for you. Ned Stark, if he had lived, that's interesting. It's not a bad analogy. Alrighty, folks, I am going to go ahead and sign off. Everybody have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a wonderful weekend. And you know what? Let's check something. Let's see. Hey, Megaphone Man is live. He's watching episode 40 of Critical Role. Go check him out. Go check it out and see how it goes. He doesn't know anything about it. Don't spoil it for him. Go drop in and say hello. Everybody have a wonderful day.